Nufriend. Can we essentially decide our death to be peaceful and painless? Duane responds, it's like when you're in Las Vegas and you have the dice in your hand. Do you want number 7 or 11? And you can decide that. But it doesn't mean it's going to come up. You're not at the point of your passing yet, and every moment you're making decisions. People can decide it and think they want to get out of here, and so you have the idea. But how are you going to go about doing that? Jumping off a building is really going to hurt. Going underwater is going to hurt too. Whatever option you consider is going to be painful. Pain is part of the process, but once you take the time to discover your real awareness, then you can supersede all that, and you never have to have another body where you have to deal with the so-called idea of death. You do have the choice. You're the decider, and realistically, there is no one but you. But even though you do see everybody else, realistically, it's you making every decision, and you always have, and now you're realizing it. People think that many times it's from somebody else. But when somebody else tells you to do something, it's you who decides to agree, and that's okay. Sometimes you agree. If I want to drive a car, I must agree to get a license, and that's fine. Or I can drive without a license, and I can do that too. A lot of the so-called illegal aliens drive without a license, and they get away with it. So why can't I? There's different ways to look at it, but you're always the decider, and we all have the free will to decide scary things. It's so simple when you take the time. Take a few moments to be like the sun shining, and then compare the difference with that to all those ideas that you have thought. Where do these ideas go? Look at the sun. It's self-sufficient. It's fine. But at the same time, from the personal point of view, it would seem that the sun is boring. And what is it actually doing? I understand, because again, you have an active mind with all these particulars. When you view what the sun is from the perspective of the sun, you will see that it's not bored, that what it sees happening on the earth is really boring. That's why it has nothing to do with it. You have to learn to see what it sees as an example, and that takes a few moments. You have to sort out your personal self. All these things that you're chasing, in your mind especially, because it's activated by your mind and imagination. You want to do this and do that. You have all this stuff hopping around, and all these appearances going on all day long. The personal mind is jumping around constantly, and to focus and see through that takes a lot, and only you can decide that, as no one's going to decide that for you. This is where people misunderstand. They think they can just read something, or go to religion, thinking they're going to get relief or salvation because they do a confession, or they come to this thinking, okay, what's the new presentation going to do for me? I'm just creating references to show you how to do it for yourself. I always use comparisons. I set myself up to automatically compare, because I see how the personal self is. If someone makes a statement of belief, it's a matter of fact. There's no comparison. It's just a belief, and they don't want to hear anything else. That person is then the effect of what they are deciding, the effect of that idea. A person can stay the effect of a single idea, and can have a whole lot more, but that single idea can bring them back for 100 lifetimes, because they made the choice. The people don't stop the cycle, and until they decide otherwise, the cycle continues. Like when you put your foot on the pedal of your car. You don't have to lift it up just because there's a stop sign up ahead. You decide to lift it up and put on the brake. Nobody else is deciding that. People lock themselves into ideas, and there's a part of them that recognizes that there is another view that they haven't yet seen, that recognizes that these phobias start to come up because of that, such as emotion, anger, etc. You take the time to recognize this, and life makes sense. And this is what's so cool about the true reality life is, and it's evident, but you have to learn to see it. You need references, and that's why we're here, because we need comparisons. You need a home base, which is the personal self you've created, and that is demonstrated in the dream visions as a house. That's the house that you live in. Just like a house is in creation, it's the personal self that you've created. A house is an idea. A building is an idea. Only a building has more levels to it, whereas a house only has one level. But if you have a 2-story house on the real side, and you go to the upstairs, that means you're going to the real side. You're going above the personal self. If you just stay downstairs, then you're just living basically with the personal self, and you will see this objectively on the real side with others. You will sometimes visit people you know, relatives and friends, in their houses, and you will look around, and their house will look funny, because it's exemplifying who they are. You have decided to go there as an experience, or you have a relationship there, or many times you're in your mother or grandmother's house. Whatever the idea is, the part that you don't really recognize, the real you, is going from position to position, and at times it lets the personal self know, but not all the time, because in your subconscious you have what is known as a sensor, just like a bank has an alarm system if anyone tries to break into the vault. You have an alarm system, and it's called the sensor in psychology. You've developed this to where certain ideas do not come across to the personal mind unless they are investigated, because it can affect the personal self in certain ways. There's a lot more to you than you realize, a whole lot more, and this becomes your journey. Here on the physical, for something material to relate to, I see the sun as the best example of clearing so much out within ourselves. When you're sincere to do that, and use the new you, and just do a little study to better understand it, the guides come in on the real side and start to clear out those tap lines for you. You're going to have questions. It's not that you don't. You're going to want to sort things out, and you're going to want to know certain things. For myself, first comes the awareness, and when I talk to an individual, I look at the awareness, and what the individual is personally is their business. The personal self is what they have created, and that's their life. It's like the house they live in, or the car they drive, etc. I look to the real awareness, and when I'm speaking to people, so what I'm speaking to is their real awareness, because that part understands, where the personal self may not.